Good morning, good evening, wherever you might be. Thank you for joining me today. I want to talk a little bit about Revelation 18 and some of the jabs. Gotta be careful what I say here on YouTube. But I want to talk about something really quickly here. So in Revelation 18, verse 23, so 18 is talking specifically about Babylon falling and all the terrible things that it did, and kind of the how would you say it, the sins of Babylon, right? The sins of the society that rules the nations, the hidden hand of nations, let's say. And so there's a part here where it talks about sorceries. So it talks about the people of the earth, or the nations, were deceived by way of Babylon's sorceries. Sorceries is the word, and through the Greek, where we actually get the word drugs or pharmacy. And so typically when you see sorcery in the Bible, it's talking about drugs. Now what's interesting here is people were deceived by sorceries or drugs. Now I want to show you this really interesting study that came out. So there was a study that was peer reviewed by four different, uh, I'm sorry, there was four peer reviewed studies that show an association between getting jabs and autism as well as other neurological issues. So if we look at the study, what you'll see is huge risks from getting jabs with regards to learning disorders and different types of disorders in children and adults. Um, well, I should say when jabs are given to children and they develop problems as a result throughout their life, is a better way to say that. So we, like for example, we see 6.81 times greater chance of getting learning disorders. And so what we're seeing here, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, is that there are people who know a lot about medicines, if we can even call them that, and the impact of childhood development. And I believe, in my opinion, as well as from the data that's provided, that the human race is actually being poisoned to death. And I think it's a control mechanism, because it's like if you're sick and have a low IQ, or if you acquire a low IQ as a result of getting jabs, you're easier to control. And I think that's really what this jab nonsense is all about. See, because we're told that these solutions for healthcare to lower the risk, is actually helpful, right? We're told that getting jabs will, prevent diseases and things like that. The more and more research that's being done is that might be true, but here's the problem: is the people that fund the studies that say the jabs work are the same people who often have a shared interest in selling um, um, those remedies, let's say. And so now, obviously, it's not every case, right? But what I think is interesting is how more and more evidence is coming out about how absolutely terrible jabs are. And we're getting to that point where people are starting to wonder, do any of them work? You know, like it's like how big have we been lied to, right? Like what's the degree of just deception? And in the Bible, right, in Revelation 18, it is Babylon, the hidden hand of nations, that uses drugs to deceive people. And so if people develop neurological conditions as a result of jabs, well, isn't that a way to deceive people? If they struggle neurologically, they would be easier to deceive. And things in like fluoride in the water is another good example, how it calcifies part of the brain. And in my view, it's just from all of the data I've looked at. Now I don't claim to be a doctor because I'm not one. I'm concerned for people's health being intentionally degraded by malevolent actors that want to control people. And I think that's the ultimate concern I have with jabs. So this is some really good stuff. Dr. Peter McCullough, on Twitter X, published, or posted rather, some of this content, and so have other people. Nicholas Holscher, I believe his name is. So I would definitely check it out. I'll post a link in the description. Thank you.